Well, shit. Looks like I'm gonna have to wait 10 hours for the fucking MMO to install. You see, that's the thing. I don't hate World of Warcraft. I just didn't want to have to wait 10 hours for that bastard to install. I mean, what am I gonna do? Well, I guess I do have over 500 fucking games. I guess I've got to play one of them whilst I wait. Maybe something that I couldn't do a full episode on. Let's see. Steam library. You won't let me down. Perfect. Dinner Date is a bizarre indie experiment which is basically sitting at your kitchen and clock watching the video game. I really wish I was joking, but I'm not. Yes, a late trend of minimalistic games where all you do is listen to someone witter on whilst you do something, such as this, Dear Esther, and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. This game kinda takes that to a whole new level of taking the fucking piss. Now, before I get started on this, I do want to point out that I do like Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. As games, on paper, they don't come out very well. I mean, all you do is walk around and listen to an audio cassette. It's not really very challenging, or progressive, or constructive, even. It is, however, a very good insight into the mind of someone who's very depressed, and it offers us beautiful scenery, as well as making us question as to what's real and what's inside our heads. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is also a great example of a story that doesn't use human actors, but instead uses particle effects that are actually quite well generated because they look like human beings, but at the same time it's like finding audio cassettes of something that had happened long ago. I think that both games do something unique that no other game could. Like, if you added puzzles to Dear Esther, for instance, I think it would damage the flow, and that's part of the charm for me, is that it's short and sweet, and gets to the point very quickly. So, what does this have to do with Dinner Date? Well, Dinner Date is the complete opposite of Dear Esther. Unlike Dear Esther, you don't walk around, you sit at a table. Unlike Dear Esther, you can actually interact with your environment, which I guess is a plus, but bearing in mind, you interact in the same way that a kid interacts with what's on his desk in front of him whilst he's really bored in maths class. You pick up a ruler, you wave it around a little, and you put it back down. Same case here. You pick up a piece of bread, dunk it in tomato. Does it actually have a purpose? No, it doesn't. You're just sat there, bored out your fucking face. Believe it or not, this game is actually shorter than Dear Esther. It's 21 minutes long. The length of a fucking Simpsons episode, and it's half as entertaining. And when I say that, I mean one of the newer, shittier Simpsons episodes as well. Yeah, it's that bad. You can also compare the narration, because in Dear Esther and this, there is a lot of emphasis on what's in the character's head. And you know what? That's fine by me. I mean, it offers a perspective that we don't normally get to see in games. The inner deepest subconscious of a character. The difference is, though, that the main character in Dear Esther offers us a profound look into loss, grief, and regret.
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat, when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island. I sat at the edge, and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He is mute, and he is retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Whereas this guy just offers us profound racism and fucking twattery beyond anything I could...
When will I read poetry to someone anyway? Well, probably would be wasted on Micah. Nothing under 120 BPM can please her. Wouldn't mind giving her something over 120 BPM. That was really bad. I do want sex with her though. Those slender legs. See her cry out with joy. It's nice to think of her. With them instead of quoting Byron to myself. Get a few drinks down, dance with someone, pull a girl, pull a chick. I can't believe Michael didn't show up. I was so hoping to. And she seemed to like me. Did she? I can never tell. After a few drinks, everybody kisses anybody anyway. Who else did she kiss? Not Jerry, I think. She might think we all look the same, but would she kiss Jerry? God knows the Japanese can't hold their liquor. When was she going back? A few months. Not much time left if I want to shag her.
I am not kidding when I say that this guy is probably on my top 10 of most unlikable fucking characters in a video game. He's racist, sexist, and all he does is fucking whine. Oh, I guess we got that in common. But anyway, he sat around at his table waiting for his date to show up, wondering why. So what do you do in dinner date? I mean, come on, seriously, what do you do? Well, you sit at a table, watching a clock, dunking bread, eating wine, the exact same thing that you would do if you were stood up in real life. Except, unlike if you were stood up in real life, you have this annoying twat gobbing on in your ear the entire time. Oh, and also, the game is very picky and very selective as to what you can and can't interact with, and when you can and can't interact with it. It kind of baffles me, really. It's not like you can just grab anything in front of you like Surgeon Simulator and start smashing it, or... because at least that would be funny. It's not like the Stanley Parable or anything like that where you can basically fuck with the system. It's not like Facade even, where you can talk. It's just sitting there staring at a fucking bowl of soup for 21 minutes. Eventually, it just gets really fucking boring. The guy just goes on and on and on about his work life, his home life, and how much his love life is basically a sinking ship. The thing that really annoys me about this game is it's quite obvious as to why this guy doesn't have a girlfriend. For a start, he's 27 years old and he's still acting like he's 19. And he also draws pictures of dinosaurs and slaps them to his fridge. But he also constantly quotes poetry, like it fucking means anything, when actually it doesn't. And he also can't remember it off by heart. The guy's basically a pretentious twat with little to nothing to offer. If this guy is based on the main developer of this game, Stout, whatever his name was, which apparently is why this game even exists, because that guy was stood up on a date as well. If this guy is anything like him, you've basically made a game explaining why you were stood up. Because quite honestly, I would not date you. You are the worst human being I have ever had to listen to in a while. I'm not going to say ever, because, you know, he's not racist to the point that he's hateful. He's just casually racist, casually sexist, and that's what makes him boring. I don't even hate this guy. It's not like, say, Negan or somebody who I can hate, but I kind of love him at the same time. I don't hate to love him or love to hate him. I just fucking hate this guy. I don't want to listen to him talk, and he won't shut the fuck up. It's awful. Anyway, after a bit, he starts drinking heavily. God, I wish I could fucking put bleach in there or something. Just anything to make this game end quicker. So he drinks himself into a fucking stupor. No surprise there. And then he basically talks some more about work. About how this guy's not pulling his weight at work. Like, I really give a shit about this guy's job. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do understand the point in this game. But that doesn't mean I like it. I mean, there are plenty of premises in games that I get. Like Car Wash Tycoon, made by Phoenix Games. I get it. But that doesn't mean I fucking like it, and it doesn't mean I like this either. This is complete shit. Eventually I get really fucking drunk. I mean, he gets really fucking drunk because I'm his subconscious. Wait, if I'm his subconscious, why can't I, you know, fucking influence him in any way? Can't I, like, put suggestive thoughts into his head? Hey, kill the French ambassador. Kill the French ambassador. No, it didn't work. So anyway, he eventually has a cigarette while staring at a crayon drawing of a dinosaur that he drew and stuck on the fridge, wondering why his life's going to shit. Gee, I don't know. Why is a 27-year-old man with, you know, dinosaur pictures on his fridge, constantly failing to recite poetry and living like a 19-year-old, why is his life going tits up? I don't know. I guess it's a mystery for the ages. So eventually the doorbell goes and he runs to it in order to answer it. I was saddened to see that it wasn't his date, but equally amused to find out that it wasn't. It was just one of his neighbours. Part of me wanted it to be his date so he'd turn up a drunken wreck with a fag hanging out of his mouth, but the rest of me wanted him to not get the date and get stood up. Eventually, though, he gets stood up and he just goes out and gets pissed rather than, I don't know, reevaluating his life or something. So dinner date's a piece of shit. I mean, as far as it looks okay. Has its own unique art style. Kind of reminds me of what Telltale's been doing recently with The Walking Dead and a few other games. And I also like, I don't know, I guess it's a functional game. I'm trying really hard. I just can't like this game. It's so fucking boring. Now, some people might be asking at this point, is there any way that we can influence this game? Is there anything we can do? Anything to change it? I don't know. I still don't know. And this is the third time I've played this piece of shit. I'm serious as well. But apparently not. Apparently, this is it. 100% it. There's nothing else. I have no idea how to influence anything, and do I want to look it up? No. No, not really. Now, you might be thinking that's unprofessional of me, but bearing in mind, it's also unprofessional to give a tutorial which doesn't hold up for the rest of the fucking game. So, speaking of shit, looks like World of Warcraft has just downloaded. Well, at least it's going to be better than fucking dinner date, I can give it that. Let's give it a whirl. You know, I'm having a bit of a hard time figuring out where to begin with this. I mean, if I actually told you what World of Warcraft was, I feel like I'd be insulting half the intelligence of my audience. Not that that's ever stopped me before. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, who are living under a rock, World of Warcraft is a mass multiplayer RPG, and it's probably considered the biggest granddaddy of them all. Or at least it was. I think recently a lot more competition, worthy competition as well, has risen up from the ground. And because World of Warcraft is quite old, those do things that World of Warcraft just cannot do anymore. So before I get started, I should probably mention that I'm not really an MMO person. I played Elder Scrolls Online for a bit and it was okay. I liked it, although I think I treated it mostly as a single player game. I had a bit of fun with my friends, but didn't really participate in the dungeon raiding or PvP side of it. I just did the quests and that was pretty much it. The thing is, I like a story or at least something cathartic to keep me entertained, and I don't feel like most MMOs offer this. So, I've been told that World of Warcraft isn't most MMOs, so who knows, maybe it will offer something different. I guess only time will tell. So I decided to play as an undead and as a dwarf. The reason for this is because each race is aligned to a different faction. There's at least 2 factions and a third one for pandas, but I'm not touching that fucking panda with a barge pole. I'm not Jack fucking Black, okay? So anyway, I start playing it and, well, the undead seems a lot more compelling to me, so I decided to go for him. I start off and get told that I've been resurrected. I'm a dead warrior that's now one of the fallen. I take it pretty well because, well, fuck it, in this world I probably didn't have much of a life anyway. For a start, I kind of like and dislike the character customization. I feel like there's a lot you can do, but equally, compare it to, say, Black Desert Online or Elder Scrolls Online, and this character creation is pretty base. Like, there's not much you can do at all. every character winds up looking the same because there really isn't that much variation. I guess it's because of how old the game is, and to be honest, I can respect that. I mean, back in 2004, you were lucky if you even had a character creation system. But I don't know, a few more options would be nice. It's quite clear that they have updated it since I last played this game 10 years ago. So, maybe just add a few more hairstyles or something? I don't know, just anything to make my character stand out. But anyway, I just get dropped into the game as, well, Malachite Set, who is basically set on the ghoul from Fallout. No pun intended. Anyway, immediately I get told to go away and do a thing. And this is where the endless grinding begins. You see, the reason why I could tolerate Elder Scrolls Online is because in that game you start off in some prison in some off-world location. Whether you're a fan of the previous Elder Scrolls games or not, there is some intrigue there. You're woken up in a prison, you have no idea why you're there, and you actually have to fight your way out. Here you just sort of wake up on a hillside and they're like, go and do some pointless mind-numbing quests. Ugh, so alright, I'm gonna go off and do these mind-numbingly boring quests. After a while, they start to tell me to kill innocent animals and innocent zombies for fun, more or less. But I don't really consider it to be fun. None of them attack back, and it's just kind of boring. Oh well, at least I've managed to do it easily. I guess they're just warming me up. It's a sort of training exercise for when the big enemies come along. The problem is though, this isn't a game that requires skill. Like, it doesn't require any sort of knowledge or anything like that. MMOs are a pretty basic system. All you have to do is just run around, kill things, level up, get money, get gear, sell gear for money and buy better gear, or get better gear through questing. Overall, I don't think that there's much skill to that, or at least not to make it through the game. I understand that there are going to be some people who are running around with big angel wings on the back and probably have the ability to fly and shit, but I'm just talking about getting through the game here. I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit lost as to why I'm even here. I get that they're resurrecting zombies to use in their big army, but I have no idea who we're even fighting at this point or why. I guess it's the human faction, the Alliance, which is fair enough. I mean, I did play Warcraft 3, I should have some idea what the fuck's going on. I remember Arthas went on that campaign and took Frostmoor, and it was like Soul Edge, and it turned him into a zombie, and then he killed his dad, and blah blah blah. But I had the same problem with the Dwarf campaign. In fact, that was even more confusing, because that starts you off in the middle of a fucking battlefield, and doesn't tell you why you're even fighting these creatures at all. Well, it does, but it gives you a bunch of glossary terms that I have no idea what half of them even mean. Compare this to, say, Dragon Age, which I know is an RPG, not an MMO, so it can't really work the same way, but at least that game has the decency to pull you over and say, here, this is what's happening, this is why it's happening, now you're going to have to go out and do this. But here, no, it doesn't really work that way. You just sort of run around and do quests and hope that you get some angle as to what the fuck's going on whilst you're doing it. Although, who really plays World of Warcraft for the story? I feel like the lore is somewhat impenetrable, and if you're not playing for the story, then you're probably playing for the gameplay. So how does that hold up?
That ability isn't ready yet.
Yeah. Combat is incredibly fucking boring. You just mash 1 and 2 on your keyboard to do multiple abilities. As far as I'm concerned, it's on par with Dragon Age Origins, but even that felt like I had more control over the situation. I just run over to an enemy, stand in front of him, hack and slash him, and then eventually he dies and I can move on. It really does feel incredibly dated and a bit shitty, to be honest. I'm not going to say that this game, you know, is bad, because when it came out, this was pretty much what you got out of an MMO. But times have kind of changed. I played Black Desert Online as I mentioned earlier, and that game has a beautiful combat system, as does Elder Scrolls Online. Hell, Final Fantasy XIV does. But this is just so boring in comparison. I mean, I watched one of my friends play Final Fantasy XIV. I didn't get very far in that, but I do know that the combat system is a hell of a lot cooler. I mean, when you watch her, she's doing all sorts of weird flips and things, and dodging all sorts of obstacles. She's not just stood there on the spot, smashing a sword down on an enemy. So anyway, I go out and kill a bunch of spiders. At least that spider will never threaten the free world now. I realise that I have this quest which is to practice my new charge ability, but I don't know what I have to do. Okay, it sounds fucking obvious. Practice your charge ability. So I use it on this enemy and it doesn't seem to do shit. So, what? Am I supposed to practice it against a certain type of enemy? Am I supposed to do it so many times? It says only do it once. So, anyway, I used this ability for the best part of half an hour before coming back to retrieve a quest at the end. And then I realised, oh shit, there are training dummies there. So then I hit the training dummy once, and I've apparently mastered this move now. Apparently all the times that I killed giant monsters with it just didn't count. I don't understand this game at all. It's just so arbitrary and silly. Like, I've done the move. Doesn't that count for shit? I guess not, but let's just move on. So eventually I actually get to fight an enemy, a real enemy, not just one that wanders around until I attack it. They're called the Brain Rock Tribe or something. And they're actually, well, kind of disappointing. I mean, they've got nothing behind them. They're apparently just a bunch of assholes who can't take being undead, so you have to run over and cut them down. As you can probably tell, I'm not invested in this. I wasn't invested in the same way that I was Dead State, at least. I've recently been playing Fallout Tactics on the side, and I'm way more invested in that than I am in this. That game offered a hell of a lot more. This, on the other hand, I just cannot get into it. I'm trying, but I just can't. This also pretty much cemented my idea that nobody really gives a shit about the lore of this game, when Loz joined me and all we did was run around making train noises for half an hour. I mean, yeah, it was fun, but I wasn't really playing the game. There wasn't much to do. All we did was run around and pick fights with people we couldn't win just for a laugh. I picked a fight with some random woman and flirted with her and her dog until she killed me. That was pretty funny. I blew kisses at the dog as well. I'm probably going to go to prison for that. But anyway, back to my undead quest. So, eventually I managed to gear up. This is usually the part where most MMO players get excited, and in Elder Scrolls Online, again, for a comparison, I do feel like I get better equipment as I go along. It's not just about the numbers, the equipment actually looks better. Here, all the equipment looks the same, whether you're at level 1 or level 100. I mean, yeah, you start off with some shitty looking rags, but my first set of armor is, ooh, shiny. So yeah, it's all about the numbers, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care about the numbers. If I could get by with nothing but a stick, I'd be pretty happy with that. I just grab whatever I can, and I guess that's why I'm not really suited to MMOs. I just don't have that strive, that competitiveness to want to do better than everybody else. Because as far as I'm aware, doing better than anybody else doesn't really matter in this game. Because no matter how good you are, there are a million people better than you, and no matter how much you accomplish, at the end of the day, you haven't really accomplished anything. And that's a really depressing thought. Speaking of depressing thoughts, as I booted this game up the 3rd or 4th time, I saw this trailer for World of Warcraft Legion. And I sat back thinking the entire time, why isn't this the game? I mean, it looks stunning, it plays stunningly, everything about the way this looks is amazing. You could easily make this into an Assassin's Creed style game or something like that. It doesn't necessarily even have to be an RPG. This looks a hell of a lot more appealing than World of Warcraft, and the funny thing is that it's the trailer for World of Warcraft. That's pretty fucking funny and depressing at the same time. So eventually I get the go-ahead to finally leave this shithole place. Hallelujah. So I have to deliver a message. I go on a long journey, like 2 miles down the road. Of course it takes like 2 minutes to get there, so fuck it, it wasn't much of a journey after all. It was a bit anticlimactic, to be honest. So anyway, I managed to get the message to some guy, and he tells me that I immediately need to go out and kill some farmers. A bunch of farmers who seem to think that the fields are their kitchen. Don't ask, just don't. So anyway, I managed to kill them, and I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to enjoy myself here. I mean, I'm still doing mind-numbingly boring tasks, but at least I get the satisfaction of killing humans now instead of animals. And they're actually fighting back as well. Then I get told that I have to fight actual soldiers. Now things are picking up. You can probably see I'm around level 6 and I have some better gear. It took me a while to realise that my inventory was pretty much full and I had to go back and sell all my shit. The inventory system isn't as obvious as it looks, but I was able to pick it up quite quickly, so it's not too bad. I did accidentally equip all of my shitty gear for a bit of times because I didn't realise how the hell it worked. I thought left clicking on something destroyed it when actually it equipped it. So finally I managed to get to the top of this tower and defeat these Red Crusader arseholes who have apparently risen up to fight the undead and kick them back to their tombstones. I eventually find out that one of my people has been taken prisoner, and find out that it's this whiny bitch from earlier. She apparently can't take the fact that she's undead, and decided that if she went back to her own people, they'd welcome her with open arms. She was wrong, and she still hates me. Don't know why, don't know what the fuck I did, I'm in the same boat with her, but whatever. I return my quests and eventually get this scythe blade. It looks better, but it's actually a piece of shit. It's at this point that I seriously begin to think that I've kind of done everything I want to do with this game. Don't get me wrong, it's not remotely a bad game. If you like this game, and I know that Loz does and many other people do, then, you know, as they say, more power to you. I have absolutely no problems with this game's existence. As far as MMOs went, it was one of the best. Now, I'm not so sure of that, but I can still say that it is a decent game. I have to say that there is a lot of potential in it, there's a lot to see and do, and as a classic, it holds up quite well. I just don't understand why people still treat it as something that's relevant. Like, they're making expansion packs with these gorgeous visual trailers that honestly could be games of their own. I think they would probably do better as games of their own. Like, you know, if they did the Bethesda thing and just released a new Warcraft series every couple of years. But no, they're just not doing that. They're sticking to the MMO. And I think that maybe Blizzard needs to move on. Maybe make Warcraft into Elder Scrolls. You know, make it art. There's potential for it. Or maybe at least bring back the RTS games. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed Warcraft 3. I actually wish that I could play these games in that format. Maybe in the Wasteland 2 style. I don't know, just anything but this. Because this is just so dull. I honestly just don't understand how Blizzard thinks that this engine, this game, is still relevant to the times. I mean, take a look at Skyrim. That's 5 years old, and that kicks the arse off of this in terms of atmosphere and control and combat and everything else that makes an MMO or an RPG come to life. The world has moved on, but the World of Warcraft still spins the same way as it did 10 years ago, and in many ways that's kind of nice. I actually went back to a spot that I visited when I last played it in 2007. It was kind of nice to revisit it, but that's how it felt. It was like going back to a town, like an old seaside town that hasn't changed, and you know that you've been back to it now. You stood in the same spots where you stood 10 years ago. It's a nice novelty, but things change for a reason. And like an old seaside town, this game definitely does give me the impression that I don't really ever want to go back to it. As much as I think that this game is okay, it serves its purpose, and it's pretty good, and I want to elaborate that I have nothing against it, I still don't find myself addicted to it like some people used to be, or even people are these days. World of Warcraft is always going to have a place in every MMO fan's heart, and it's always going to have a place in the heart of all gamers, because even me, I played a lot of Warcraft 3. I used to make my own campaigns. I might even cover those as a show one day. I guess we'll see. It's going to be fucking embarrassing, I'll tell you that, but it might be worth it, you know. It might be. I'll see. Anyway, until next time, I'm Professor C, and this is my show Curiosity's Sake, in case you didn't notice that from the title in the last 5 episodes. Join me next time as you know what? I think I've done enough RPGs recently. I mean, how many have I done? 2? I don't know if I can count the New Testament as a 3rd. So, you know what? Next time, I'm going to do something else, another genre, and I'm going to try it on the Xbox.
I must be asleep 'cause you're a dream come true. Also, I'm slightly damp. Enough of this chit-chat, let's get to it then. You look pretty, I like your hair, here's a drink. Are you ready now? Let's get on with it then. I've got a quest to do in 15 minutes. You'd like to run your hands through my beard, wouldn't you?
By the light of the moon,